Most horror stories end when the lights turn on. These don't. Everything you're about to hear is based on real cases events. So disturbing that police reports, recordings, and evidence still exist. No monsters, no fiction. Just moments when something went terribly wrong and never stopped. Turn the lights down and listen carefully. In 1979, a teenage girl agreed to babysit 2 children in a quiet suburban home. The parents left just after sunset, promising to be back before midnight. The children were asleep upstairs. The house was silent. For nearly an hour, nothing happened. Then the phone rang. When she answered, there was only breathing on the other end. Slow, intentional. She hung up, telling herself it was just a prank. 10 minutes later, the phone rang again. This time, a man whispered, "Have you checked the children?" Her heart began to race. She locked the doors and called the police. They told her to stay calm and call back if it happened again. The phone rang a 3rd time. As the operator traced the call, her voice suddenly changed. It became serious. She said, "Get out of the house now." The babysitter dropped the phone and ran outside barefoot, screaming for help. Police arrived minutes later. Upstairs, near the children's bedroom, they found a man hiding in the dark. The children were already dead. The killer had broken in earlier that night. He waited silently upstairs, listening as she answered the phone, calling her from another line inside the house. The calls were never coming from outside. They were coming from behind her. In 1973, in a small German town, a young woman named Anneliese Michel began experiencing violent seizures, hallucinations, and blackouts. Doctors diagnosed epilepsy and severe psychosis. Medication didn't help. Anneliese claimed she saw demonic faces. Religious symbols caused her pain. She said voices screamed inside her head, voices that weren't hers. Her family believed she was possessed. After years of suffering, the Catholic Church approved an exorcism. Over 10 months, Anneliese underwent 67 exorcism sessions. Many were recorded. On the tapes, her voice changes. It growls, it screams. Multiple voices speak through her, claiming to be demons like Judas and Lucifer. She said she was suffering for others' sins. Her body weakened. She stopped eating. She knelt for hours in prayer until her knees bled. In 1976, Anneliese Michel died of starvation and dehydration. She weighed just 68 pounds. Her parents and the priests were convicted of negligent homicide, but the tapes remain public. And those who listen say the voices don't sound human. Even today, priests use this case as proof that something beyond illness may exist. Something that speaks when it's invited in. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers entered the frozen Ural Mountains of Russia. None of them returned. Weeks later, search teams discovered their campsite, immediately knew something was wrong. Their tent had been cut open from the inside. Footprints led away into the snow, barefoot, half-dressed, in sub-zero temperatures. The bodies were scattered across the mountains. Some had crushed skulls and broken ribs, injuries compared to a high-speed car crash. One woman was missing her tongue. Another had no eyes. There were no signs of a fight, no animal tracks, no clear explanation. Even stranger, some clothing tested positive for abnormally high radiation. The Soviet government closed the case, blaming a compelling natural force. To this day, theories range from secret military testing to infrasound-induced panic. But one detail haunts investigators most. The hikers' final diary entry was calm, normal. Nothing suggested fear, until suddenly something forced them to tear open their tent and run into the darkness. 3 true stories. 3 moments where reality crossed a line it couldn't come back from. No jump scares, no escape, just proof that sometimes the most terrifying thing isn't what we imagine, it's what actually happened.